Hey guys, it's Eddie Deline here. In this video, I'm going to explain something crazy, how under market value properties can still be bought above the asking price. I'm doing this video because I was talking to someone recently and I was talking about a property. It was on the market actually for sale. Many of the properties that we buy, I'd say 80-90% of them are actually off market, but occasionally we'll buy ones that are actually on the market, on real estate and domain for sale. It was actually on the market for offers over 500,000. We ended up securing it for like 505,000. That property to me was worth in the vicinity of $530,000 to $580,000. So I'm like, this property is below market value. Someone that I knew basically personally was like, how the hell is it on market value? They're like WTF. They're like, how is this property below market value if we're buying it for more than the asking price? Today I want to take you through with the whiteboard here with the title under market value and above asking price, WTF, to explain examples about how in the past I personally bought properties and bought properties for clients that were actually over the asking price, but they're under market value and they're under the bank valuation more importantly. So I'm going to take you through multiple key principles, the knowledge that I've learned over the last decade of buying thousands of investment properties. Now look, I personally own over 80 properties myself in my own portfolio. I'm 32 years old. I go on television all the time. I know what I'm talking about and I want to share this knowledge with you today, absolutely free. So if you're interested, keep watching the video and we'll go through it and you'll learn something really good today. The scenario that we had as an example was we were buying a property we ended up buying it for 505K and it was actually listed online for offers. It was online for offers over 499 plus. That was what it said online. The key thing to understand here is that real estate agents put the listing price or the listing ad online. The first thing to understand is they can change it to whatever they want. Market value does not mean asking price. Two separate things. They do not have any correlation at all. Asking price and the listing price is different to market value. It's different to the bank valuation as well. Further to that, there's actually valuation ranges. You've got low point, midpoint, high point. You've got three different ranges, 1, 2, 3. The listing agent, as an example, could have listed it at plus 499 plus, offers over 499. So you negotiate up. They could have also listed the price at, let's say, 600,000, and then it's negotiations or best offer to 600,000. They could have also listed the price in a guide. So they could have done, let's say 479 to 519. They could have also listed the property at something crazy, listed it for 1 million. Or they could even just leave a actual guide, put no price at all in there and do EOI, which is expressions of interest. So you inquire and you tell them what you're prepared to pay for it. They don't give you a price. They could have also just said, running out of space here, so you have to bear with me. It could have just said contact agent. So they could have listed the price at any particular price point. I've even got realestate.com on my phone and I've got I can list things online for sale if I ever want to sell them. I can list it myself. So I see the behind the scenes, the back end of the infrastructure of REA, which is Real Estate Australia, realestate.com.au, or Domain, the two biggest platforms. You could take any property in the world and you could put it on there for $1. Offers over $1. You could put it on there for 600K, 579.19, 1 million, whatever it may be. Understanding of this is that who comes up with the actual number? First start from the real estate agent or the person selling it or the seller. They can actually sell the properties themselves. They've got, there's different subscriptions and online based platforms how a seller can actually sell the property themselves. So how do they pick the price? And that's generally through trying to do what they call a CMA, right? So it's comparable market analysis, CMA. This basically goes off comparable properties that have sold, comparable properties that are on the market, and also market trends, what the market's doing. If the market's jumping up quite a lot very quick, or then if a property sold for 505 3 months ago, and now all the ones online are 600,000, well then the new idea is that properties are now starting to sell for a lot more. And this happens a lot as different states and different areas go through this big growth cycle, right? Like a property 3 months ago might have sold for 500,000. But then more similar properties now might be selling for 570. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, valuations can change very quickly. And if you're stuck in the past thinking, oh, well, the property sold a year ago for 380, and now it's 500. Well, that's outdated data, it's outdated information, it has no correlation at all. That's behind, all right? It's like in Sydney or Melbourne, properties 30, 40 years ago, you could pick them up for like 20 grand, 30 grand. You can't pick them up anymore, I'm sorry. The first thing to understand about this video is that the listing price is not what it's worth. It's not market value. This appraisal was done through an agent, doesn't sell much between you and I, all right, off record. I'm not telling you who they are, but they didn't sell a lot of properties very regularly, so they weren't up to date with what was going on in the market. All the other ones online at the time, we got the property for 505, all other ones on the market were literally offers over 569, 579, sales at 555, 570, 580. To the naked eye, anyone who didn't know that information, didn't have the background knowledge of what the market was doing, what the actual other sales were, offers over 499, they'll be like, well, you're crazy. Why are you paying 505? You're paying 5 grand too much. You should have negotiated down, Eddie. What the hell is the matter with you? But that's not how it works. If you own 1 or 2 or 3 properties, congratulations. But I'm sorry, but the chances are you're not a professional yet unless you have 6, 10, 20, 30, 40 properties, unless you've done hundreds or thousands of negotiations, you wouldn't understand this. But for those of you who have done hundreds or thousands of negotiations and bought tens and tens of properties, you can probably see where I'm going with this. You probably already know this. But to the majority of you out there that are watching this video, you wouldn't know this. And it might not make sense to you yet, and that is okay, because it didn't make sense to me a decade ago either. I would have saw the price for offers over 499 and be like, I'll give you 475, right? Would have never bought the property. The actual property itself had 12 to 13 other offers on it. We were lucky to get it for 505. So different real estate agents, based off their experience, based off how good they are, based off their knowledge, how much they sell, their market data, what type of agent they are, whether they're trying to get the top premium price, whether they're trying to really hunt down and get the most for it, or the other agent who's just trying to get a quick sale, get it sold real quick. And it also comes down to the seller's position. If the seller needs to sell real quick, well, then they might not have 3 to 6 months to wait to get 570 for it. So the agent would have listed it at a lower price to attract more buyers. Different agents out there could take the same property and they could list it for this, like any of them. It could be listed at offers over 500, could be listed at offers over 600,000. There's always a range of value. We have mortgage brokers that are on our team that will help clients get finance, and many times when I bought properties for myself or for clients, we get a type of valuation from a bank, and there's different valuations which I'll go through very briefly, really quickly, that actually tell you how much it's worth. One of the valuations that we got from the bank was already at 550,000. It was on the market for offers over 499, which could be changed. It doesn't mean anything here. The asking price doesn't mean anything, or the listing price doesn't mean anything. We had a bank valuation of 550, so we bought it $45,000 under the bank valuation. And further to that, the actual sales that were out there with other properties, they were again 570, 565, 540. You had other ones that were a little bit less, but that's what the newer sales data was, and that's what the other ones, more importantly, were online for sale. You can't look at sales that happened 2, 3, 5, 6, 12 months ago. You got to look at what's on the market now, what is the market trajectory, how hot the market is, what are the days on the market, is it shortening, is it going longer, etc. So the market value for this particular property, to me personally, would be minimum 530,000 to a range of 570,000, roughly. So the range for that property would have been 530 to 570,000, conservatively, if not more. And then the midpoint here, the bank's valued it again at 550. Yes, we paid over the asking price. I bought so many properties myself at the asking price. I remember, if you read the book, I don't know where it's at, but if you read the book, 30 Properties Before 30. Let me get the book, hold on. If you read the book that I wrote, 30 Properties Before 30, you go to one of these pages as an example, it's like my 4th or 5th or 6th or even 7th property. Some of those were actually online, right? And many of those were actually dissimilar to this. They were offers over 169, and I paid 169. I paid the asking price for it because I saw other ones selling for 200, 210 and 190. So it was already good value as it is. It's not about not negotiating, it's about understanding what it's worth and not missing out on the property either. But again, if you haven't read this book, 30 Properties Before 30, make sure you get it. It's completely free. There'll be a link somewhere around this video. You can pick it up. There's a new one coming as well. very shortly. In this particular scenario, most people will be like, it's online, that's not good value, I'm paying 5K more for it. You've got to get that out of your head. There's different valuations to different property. I want to show you now how one property, that same property, could have like 10 different valuations. 10 different people say it's worth 10 different prices, right? Property value is subjective. It's based on who's prepared to pay for it, what the bank says it's worth, what the agent says it's worth, what the circumstances you need to sell it, what are an arm's length transaction. Let's say as an example, again, the same property we bought for 505. Let's say you've got 3 different real estate agents. One's from LJ Hooker, one's from Ray White, one's from, I'll just say McGrath. They might do different appraisals on this property. This one might be, so 470 to 520, the appraisal. Ray White might do 530 to 580. 430 to 580. McGrath might be very adventurous and might say 550 to 600,000. That's based off how much they think you can get. So based off all those numbers, it's terrible writing. It's probably the worst writing I've ever done. Apologies. But you got 470 to 520, 530 to 580, 550 to 600. You got 3 different real estate agents that can give you 3 different appraisals. There's 3 different valuations right there. Another thing is the bank, right? I've seen banks, 6 different banks give you 6 different valuations. For this scenario, we'll just say 3 different banks. So you've got CBA as an example, you've got NAB, and you've got ANZ. With that particular scenario, Commonwealth Bank said 550, and it was a desktop valuation. NAB was like, I think it was 530, and ANZ was 510. So there's 6 different valuations already. That's just 6 different things. But then also another bank valuation, what else is there? This type of valuation is called a desktop valuation, right? Where no one goes out there. There's 2 other valuations that they could do. The same banks could actually value it 3 different ways. So now you don't just have 3 banks valuing it one way each. You can have each bank value it 3 different ways, which can come in at 3 different prices. 3 banks can come in at 3 different prices of the same property. Commonwealth Bank desktop comes in at 550. Let's say they send a full valuer out there to do a drive-by valuation. That comes in at 540 as an example. Then Commonwealth Bank send a full valuation out. This is just hypotheticals. But then they say, all right, it's valued at 520. So you've got Commonwealth Bank that could literally value it at 3 different valuations, 520, 540, 550. The same thing for NAB. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you've got 9, then you've got 3. That's 12 different valuations, 12 different valuations for one property. This is just to share with you how crazy the valuation market is out there, how crazy valuations are on properties, and how to learn and understand and digest all this information so you can gear up and get as much knowledge as you can, so you can make informed decisions and buy as many properties as you want to and build your portfolio to get you to where you want to be, like I have. This is just different examples of how that's 12 different valuations on one property. So to summarize, when you look online, if someone shows you a property and it's on the market for offers over means negotiate up. Asking price generally is the asking price. You can also have, one thing I didn't cover is you can have a set price. I've experienced in my time where a property just is a set price, there's no negotiation, take it or leave it. You can make an offer, but it's not going to be accepted. It's 550 is the asking price, 550 is what they'll sell for, take it or leave it, walk away. There's different terminology, there's different listing prices, there's different bank valuations, there's different market appraisals, there's market value, to me personally, is a combination of multiple factors. If you Google it, if you jump on your phone and type it in, the definition off the top of my head, it's been a while since I've read the Google translation, but it's a transaction between a buyer and a seller in an arm's length transaction. So meaning like a normal transaction at normal circumstances. How you can get properties under market value is getting properties that are not the norm, getting properties that are not on real estate or domain, getting properties that are urgent sales, distressed sales, bank repossessions, all that kind of stuff. Time-sensitive matters, legal issues, where sellers are in particular situations where they need to sell and their priority is getting it done quickly. They're not, they don't have time to wait. Also, another factor this comes into accessibility of the property. If the property is tenanted, it always makes it harder to sell. As an example, we picked up a property the other day for like 350. There was offers on that same property for over 400,000. We ended up buying for 350. You're probably asking, well, why didn't the seller just buy the ones, take the offer of 400,000 plus? Why did they take $50,000 less offer? And that was because the property was tenanted. They had about 9 months left on the lease, and all those offers were from people who wanted to move in the property right away. And they couldn't move in because there was a tenant in there for the next 9 to 10 months. And they had to sell in that particular situation within the next month and a half. So the only offer on the table was to buy it as it is with a tenant in place because they couldn't legally get rid of the tenant. was an investor for 350, sold for 350, and they couldn't accept offers at over $400,000. So the situation means everything when you're negotiating a property. But this is to summarize, under market value can also be above the asking price. If I were to see this video 10 years ago without having the experience, or 13, 15 years ago when I was young and inexperienced, I would have no idea what that means. But it's been, you know, over a decade of buying properties, negotiating properties. So hopefully you understand this. If not, rewatch the video. If not, then click on the link, get the copy of the free book, 30 Properties Before 30, research, due diligence. If not today, one day, get what I'm trying to say in this video. But all the best with your property investing. If you have any comments, comment below. If you have any questions, comment, smash the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.